Now, Justin Rabikoff, J-Rab, has actually left AC Diesel after only 1 year. We kind of thought that they were going to be playing at least 2 years in that program, but he left after a very short time. I really didn't kind of see this coming. Hopefully he got paid. Hopefully we get at least 6-digit salary for playing for Russian Legion, or what they're now more called Red Legion. This is his second time with the team, though. He actually went there in 2008. Probably his breakout year. Maybe that was 2009. But joined Russian Legion in 2008, played with them until or through the 2011 season, and then was with Impact for a very long time. He played with Impact for 9 years. Played with AC Diesel last year. I see a super chat, someone. There's also a helicopter flying around outside looking for a missing person, which is sad, but good. You know, they're doing something good out there. Who knows about Russian Legion, though? They were kind of middle-ish of the pack this year. But again, a crazy roster. I mean, just 4 guys on their team. I mean, you can take J-Rab, you have Alexander Bridnikov, you have Karzalev, and hopefully Samotrov plays this year. I mean, Alexander Samotrov? No. I don't know. All these Russian names are hard for me. Samotrov was one of the best Russian players there was, but did not play at all last year with the team. I'd really like to see him come back. I mean, he's a very fun player to watch. And obviously, you know, picking up J-Rab, one of the best paintball players there is going to be a benefit for Red Legion. He kind of had some knee issues last year, though, so we'll kind of see how that pans out. His hair looks crazy. He does not look 54, though. You know, that's what my hair looks like. I'm trying to listen to the, like, helicopter flying around out there. So it's cool to see teams moving. You know, I like it when players and teams move all over the place. It just kind of makes it a little more exciting, you know. I'm definitely going to want to watch Russian Legion next year. I'm definitely going to tune into their games to see how it works with J-Rab. The Ironmen roster is kind of crazy. We talked last week about PB Fit and Blast Camp, so I like it. I think it makes the league a little bit more interesting. All of the most recent Ironman pickups on there. Some of these guys we found out earlier this week. You can see a lot of guys in Revo jerseys, you know. Revo having a new owner in Tom 4. Previous DC Arsenal owner. Arsenal was like a 7-man team for a while. They played, you know, they had to have played X-Ball at some point. But we have Henry Stentz up there in the top left corner, going to be on the Ironman. Henry was with Revo for a very long time. He went professional in 2014, the exact same time Revo entered the defunct Challenger bracket in the PSP. Was it PSP? Yeah, PSP. He's played pro for a long time. Peter Stentz is a back player. He's kind of can play that maybe second middle attacker guy. A very good back player. I mean, Henry has become one of the better players in the league in the last few years. And the same with Stephen O'Mara. Stephen O'Mara, to his right, also played with Revo for a very, very long time. He started playing with Revo in 2009, so 14 years with the team, and then going over now to the Ironmen. Stephen O'Mara is kind of one of those guys who's known for, maybe, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but very like, I don't know, something. He's just known for getting, you know, or known for overshooting, so he likes to shoot people a lot. And then Shane Pastana actually said this about him. O'Mara's offensive game as a front player or insert player will be a staple of our offense this season. You know, so he is aggressive, I guess. He's been a force in the league for a long time. Having him on our side is going to be a pleasure working with him. Having him on our side is going to be a pleasure to work with. I guess that makes sense. That was just a little weirdly worded. So yeah, both, I mean, having two of Revo's really strongest players, I mean, Henry and O'Mara are probably their strongest players. And then they've also added a snake side first going into the snake guy, we'll say, and Scott Graham. Scott Graham's a guy that's been around for not a super long time. He played pro first in 2017. I think that was his first year. But he's also played with NYX, the Bears, and Seattle Thunder. He's played on a bunch of semi-pro teams. DC Devastation was one. Distortion he played with last year. He's a really small guy, very quick, and definitely dedicated to paintball. I mean, I've seen him even around here in Sacramento playing paintball, coming down from Canada and stuff. So having him on the team as a dedicated player, someone who's certainly dedicated to play paintball, is probably good. We talked about Zach Geiger last weekend. Zach Geiger's another one of those, center players, kind of like Henry Stentz, but Zach Geiger's going to be more that first guy, maybe up the center. If you're running to the center 50 off the break, or he's taking one of those center towers or something like that and then working his way up. What I put here, he's played with NRG. He played with NRG in D2, semi-pro, and pro, but he went to Revo actually at the beginning of 2022, but then actually went back to NRG the end of last year. We talked about him. And then Damian Vasquez. Damian Vasquez really only played pro for 1 year with Dynasty, although he's got that Dynasty jersey on. He played with them in 2022. But also has been a longtime player of the Newbies. The Newbies right now are a very good semi-pro team, constantly kind of fighting for that 4th or 5th highest spot in that semi-pro division. So definitely going to be a loss for them. But definitely maybe a big pickup for the Ironmen. We don't really know, though. Damien has not, like I said, he's not played in the Provision that much. Only that 1 year, and really didn't play all that much either. I mean, obviously, you're being on Dynasty. There are just so many good players on that roster, and so many Hall of Famers and best paintball players in the world. So it's really hard to kind of get some spins over there. And then Tom Guest. Tom Guest was a couple weeks ago, was added to the Ironman roster. He's played with X Factor the last 2 seasons. And then the 2 seasons before that, he kind of played with Aftermath. And that was his, not kind of played, definitely played with Aftermath. But I would say that the last season on Aftermath, he kind of made his, I don't know, we'll say mark, and kind of started standing out. He's a taller player like I am, which I think is really cool. He plays kind of that back position, but really can kind of play everywhere. I mean, you can see him over in the snake side to fill quick, or even the Dorito side. But I think would primarily be in that center position. So, I mean, just looking at, these 6 guys right here, they've kind of fielded a team, right? I mean, Damien could go play there at the Dorito side, Scott Graham, and maybe put O'Mara on the snake side. You get Tom Guest in the center with Zach Geiger, Henry Stentz holding down back center. So they've kind of retooled their entire roster. And unfortunately, the Ironman had to get rid of a lot of people, too. I mean, I think about Al Fernandez. Al Fernandez has been on the Ironman for a long time. And he is now a free agent. But the Ironmen were just doing so bad, they wanted to retool and kind of rebuild their entire roster. And so far they've done that. I think that their roster last year, if you look at it, it's not like they were terrible. It's not like they had just a bunch of random dudes you never heard of. So hopefully this year, I mean, with getting players that are used to playing with each other at least, Zach Geiger, Stentz, and O'Mara have all played on the same team. Definitely O'Mara and Henry Stentz know each other. So I think that might be good for that team. Like I said, this roster's improved, but probably not insane.